The EP Podcast. Heard everywhere podcasts can be found, and always at theeppodcast.com.
One of the things that I want to talk about today, and I want to start going through, is I want to unveil all of the contestants in the Battle of Evergreen Park. Now, this is completely unsanctioned. Some of the restaurants are very into it. Some of them have ignored me. I really don't care.
Why would they ignore you? You're giving them free publicity.
I think some places are nervous they're going to lose.
Well, still, it's free publicity.
I think some places out there are afraid they're not going to be named the best spot in Evergreen Park.
Well, there can only be one.
There can only be one.
There can only be one. So think about this. Right. You're not going to be alone.
I don't get the vote. That's the main thing. It's not me.
I don't either. I don't get to vote either.
Well, I mean, you can get one vote. Because you can go online and do it, just like anybody else. Just like anybody else, you can go vote. Okay. But we did this with Southside Pod. We pitted all the different suburbs against each other back in March and April. And the way it works, there'll be Instagram polls, there'll be Twitter polls, there'll be Facebook polls, there'll be a thing that goes out to anybody that's on our mailing list. You can join the mailing list at theeppodcast.com. There'll be a link to a specific survey. There's like 15 different ways to vote. And the idea is to see which place gets the most votes over a couple of days. And there'll be some smack talk, I would imagine. I mean, remember with the suburbs, people talk smack.
They did. They got into it.
I mean, Beverly and Blue Island went at it.
They did.
They did. Beverly and Blue Island
feelings got hurt.
They threw barbs at each other. And by the time it was over, Blue Island was mad at me and they won. Like, that's how intense it got.
Crazy. They got mad at you.
Blue Island was mad at me and they actually won the contest. That's how crazy it got. So I'm expecting the same kind of thing out of the Battle of Evergreen Park. So let's go through who we have so far that we've already announced, and then we're going to announce some other ones here. And this entire episode is brought to you by the First National Bank of Evergreen Park. They are the proud sponsors of the EP podcast. They are also a community bank. They love this area as much as you do. Their total access checking account can give you up to a $300 bonus with qualifying activities. Their statement savings special, another $200. The ATMs are free no matter where you go. Whatever ATM you use, if there's a fee, they're putting the money back in for you, so it's free. Brand new mobile banking tools they launched about a year ago, award-winning customer service, and no overdraft fees. I don't know another bank that does anything close to that. That's why they're my bank. Stop in and see them today in that big, giant, iconic building right there on the corner of 95th and Pulaski, the First National Bank of Evergreen Park, member FDIC. And now, Hannah, let's set up the field for the first ever Battle of Evergreen Park. So these are in no particular order. These are places that have already been announced on the show, but we're going to fill out the rest of the group. There's going to be 18 spots, I've decided, first of all. It's a 16-seated bracket, but 2 of the spots have play-in games, okay? So we'll get to those. We've already unveiled so far Cravings, who's been on the show before.
Amazing ice cream.
Ice cream, very good. They've been on the show just recently, and we added them onto there. So it doesn't need to be a place that serves alcohol. It's just a place that's an Evergreen Park spot.
Yeah.
Right? People like to go up there and get ice cream. So they may win the Battle of Evergreen Park. Chai Tung is sitting right on the corner.
I just had them the other day.
Of 95th and Kedzie. You know what? Look, I have been a fan of theirs in a lot of ways. I don't know lately. I'm just saying you got to be on top of your game if you're going to be in this. That's the only thing I'm saying. You got to be on your game
do it.
or you're out. Baracos.
Oh, yeah.
I would imagine when we announce the seeds next week, we'll announce the seeding next week. I would imagine this is a high seed.
Yes.
Because
it's going to be hard to, knock them down.
They're an establishment that's all over Evergreen Park.
And they're 24 hours.
This is their main spot. And that's the thing. Like we said, we made a rule, no chains.
Yeah.
Okay. Unless there was a real establishment in Evergreen Park. This is their main hub. So that's why we're putting Baracos into the contest, okay? The American Legion was announced on the last show, mainly because of the bar. They got a great bar inside there. They got the video gaming. Porter Cullens.
Oh, yeah.
Will be in the Battle of Evergreen Park. Rosangelos is on the list.
Yep.
This one here has got to be a favorite.
I was there this weekend. It's so good.
I've told people about the initial names that have been put out there for the Battle of Evergreen Park, and I've had a lot of people say, well, Rosangeles is going to win. Like, I would think if there's odds on this, if people start betting on this, and again, I don't control it.
Right.
It's all up to what people vote. But I would think this one's going to have pretty good odds. They have a very good chance. They're a 1 or a 2 seed. We haven't done the seeding yet. Again, that's next week. But they're a 1 or a 2 seed.
Yeah.
Okay. Also announced last week, Spoken Vine is going to be joining us.
Yeah.
Okay. So Spoken Vine
Fun.
is going to be in this. They are the newest establishment in Evergreen Park, and they will be part. So that's weird because they're an underdog, right? Like, if you've never been there, are you going to vote for them if you haven't made it over there yet? Mm-hmm. But they're going to be in this thing. So it'll be interesting to see how far they can go as the upstart brand new establishment. Also announced already, Tavern in the Green.
Oh, yeah.
Is part of the Battle of Evergreen Park. And that's a pretty good place, too.
It's a very good place.
Yeah.
The food is always so fresh.
You know, when I say we're having a Battle of Evergreen Park, and I say, okay, we're going to put all these people head to head, when I've told people that I'm doing this, before I tell them who's in it, they're like, well, who's going to be in it? We don't have that many places.
Yeah.
Look at this. Like, every time I announce one, somebody's sitting there going, oh, man, how are they going to beat the other one that you just announced? Like, it's going to be an intense competition when this thing kicks off in a little over a week or so. TT's.
Yes.
Also
I still have to make it there.
And they round out who we've already announced up until today. So now you're all caught up. If you didn't know about who was already in, you know now. The rest of the names going to be unveiled here in just a few minutes on the EP podcast. We also have Jenna Harte-Wisniewski from the Evergreen Park Library here. Some really good stuff going on the next couple of weeks, especially for little kids. It involves their favorite stuffed animal and Shenanigans. And in moments here, we're going to check out Music Fest over at the American Legion. It happened this past weekend, and we have your word on the street. Lots of stuff going on in Evergreen Park. Most of these contestants, not all of them, are members of the Evergreen Park Chamber of Commerce, which makes me a little bit nervous because I'm going to see a lot of these people as this is going on the 4th of August. We'll be in the middle of the Battle of Evergreen Park. These people will all see each other on the golf course. Fountain Hills Golf Club in Elsip. It is the annual Evergreen Park Chamber of Commerce golf event. You don't have to be in the chamber or a business owner to be in this golf outing. It's a great price, $70 a ticket or $250 for a foursome. Day of golfing, 9 holes, golf cart, barbecue afterwards. To sign up yourself or a foursome, or let's say you're a local business, you want to sponsor a hole, you want to donate raffle prizes, because guess what? There's going to be lots of raffle prizes at the end as well. evergreenparkchamber.org. Once again, August the 4th, Fountain Hills, the annual golf outing. Always a great time. Another great time, the American Legion. They're in the Battle of Evergreen Park, and they had Music Fest this past Saturday. And the EP podcast was there.
Well, don't go out tonight. It's bad to take your life. There is a bedroom all around. Come on.
Sitting here with Renee Milat. We're at the American Legion where it's starting to rain a little bit, but Music Fest going on. Tell me a little bit about how it's been going so far, because it was beautiful weather when I showed up. And then by the time I set up the camera, man, it's a downpour behind us.
Well, you know, I've followed your podcast. It's a great podcast, the EP podcast. It's very important to our community, just like the Legion is. And my point was going to be is that you're talking about the rain. It was beautiful when you got here. If you're south side, you're from the Windy City, you're from Chicago, you get it.
Yeah.
It'll change in 3 seconds.
It will.
And we'll both be lucky if it doesn't snow at some point. And the Legion, this place in Evergreen, you know, like EP podcast, it's a great podcast. You focus on everyone in the community and all the great things that go on. And I've just recently gotten involved with the Legion. And these are some amazing people. And when you drive down Kedzie and you go down, and I'll just be frank with you, people look at it as if this is an old man's bar.
Well, I think that's the thing. I've always tried to explain to people, like, you don't need to be a member. There's something going on in there. It's fun when you go into the bar.
It's a blast.
And they got a lot of stuff going on. They got entertainment on the weekends. They've got that. The Queen of Hearts right now is ridiculous. What is it up to? About $50,000 or something like that? It's crazy. Yeah.
We'll be over $55,000.
So I mean, like, there's a lot going on here. And I think when people discover it, I always get the comment like, "Hey, I finally went in there and like." You're right. Like, why am I not going in here more often?
It's a hidden gem.
Yeah.
It's a hidden gem. And you'll walk in here, And it's amazing. You know, you love interviewing people, correct? And you love hearing their stories.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you're surprised all the time. I challenge anyone that's listening to this podcast and watching it on your YouTube channel to come in here, sit down on some random day when you got nothing to do. Sit next to a vet. Ask them how they're doing, and you're going to get a story you're not going to believe.
Well, it's the bar set up perfectly for it. I mean, let's think about it. It's one of those horseshoe bars, so you're looking across to somebody else. Like Bleeckers used to have a bar like that here in Evergreen, and everybody always sits there and says, oh, I miss that kind of bar. Well, you got one in Evergreen at 97th and Kedzie over at the Legion, because there's that horseshoe bar where the bartender's in the middle. You can talk to the guys across. You can talk to people side to side. It really is like one of those places where it's impossible not to get into a conversation and make friends in this place.
That's the beauty of the South Side.
Yeah.
And you will listen to stories in this place that will just amaze you. Today, our chaplain, Chuck, is here. Chuck's an amazing guy. You got Becky, who's our manager here at the
Becky
Post.
runs everything. She's the best.
She does. And
she's incredible.
And she runs around like the Energizer Bunny. She's amazing, and she gets stuff done. But you can't do it without volunteers.
Right.
And I don't know, you were standing over there before the rain came in, and I made an announcement on the speaker, and I'm going to use this right now for a chance to let people know this. This place has been here for quite a while. We need new members. You mentioned we're open to the public. You do not have to be a veteran. You don't have to have served.
So what do you got to be a member?
I'm a member of the Sons of the American Legion. I
Okay.
have not served a day in my life.
Okay.
But I am here, and I am sponsored by my grandfather, Peter Edmund Malott,
Who did
served
serve.
in World War II.
Okay. All right.
And you fill out the paperwork. I can be a member of the Sons of the American Legion.
Okay.
Sons of the American Legion help the Legionnaires. This place runs by the guys who served. That's your Legionnaires. They're the backbone. We have the Women's Auxiliary. The Women's Auxiliary are the women of the veterans. They come in here. They run our Split the Pot. They're out here today. We got a spaghetti dinner coming up. They're amazing.
You have a Christmas in July happening here.
Yes, we do. I think this is our
Sunday.
first one. And that's
Yeah.
Becky, again, the Energizer Bunny, running that one and driving that one. It's amazing.
Yeah.
She's still looking for vendors, so if people out there are interested in being a vendor, we could use you. We're looking for people like that. We're looking for original stuff. This place is original. Look at it. It's got the old school face brick. We haven't done much remodeling on the inside.
You did remodel that banquet area, which is
Banquet
beautiful.
room is amazing. Yes.
And
And
it's, like
it's
one of those
open
things-
for rental, by the way.
Anytime somebody sits there and says, I want to have a party, I want to do this, I want to have like a gathering, where can I find something in Evergreen Park? I always think to myself, like one of the nicest banquet halls in the area is
Yeah.
over at the Legion. You just don't know it
Yeah.
when you drive down, but it's brand new. Like that's why the Village has all their big events in here.
Yeah.
That's why you get the Chamber of Commerce. There's a big dinner in here every year. I mean, there's a reason for that.
And I'm glad you brought up the Village.
Yeah.
The Mayor Burke, all the trustees, they've been great. They're always helpful. We just had our Memorial Day remembrance here, and the Eternal Flame is going all the time. And the mayor and the trustees were they went out of their way. They blocked off Kedzie Avenue for us that morning so that we could have our color guard come through. We played taps, and they didn't want the traffic going by. They were very respectful. So the administration you have in Evergreen, for all the little quirks you think could be better, you should thank your lucky stars, because they go out of their way to help organizations like this, just like they do with the girls' softball leagues, the boys' baseball, the high school, and everything that's going on here. You can be a critic all you want, but it's places like the Legion, your administration at the Village Hall and everything that make this town run. You can find something wrong with everything, and you know that just as well as I do. But it takes amazing people, like the people that are out here in the rain right now, toughen it out, and they'll stick around.
Are you pumped up at home? I'm pumped up.
I hope so.
I'm
Come
pumped,
on
man.
out, right?
You pumped me
You're
up.
going to stick around for a while?
Yeah, I am going to stick
I
around
hope so.
for a while.
Dude, I love that socks hat. We got to change the mojo.
They're
gotta
terrible.
Get it, right?
They're so bad.
Well, you know what? They're trying. But it's like the American Legion, Southside institution.
Yeah.
Post 854.
Yeah.
Southside institution. White Sox are Southside institution, and this place is just like Sox fans. You never give up. You never forget. You always try to do better. And then what else can you ask for in
Man,
life?
next time I need a week off, I'm having this guy host the EP podcast. What do you say?
Building relationships, supporting the community, and service. These are the things that Country Financial stands for. They're more than just an office you may pass by as you drive through Evergreen Park. They're neighbors who lend a helping hand and support the fabric of your community, including charitable organizations, sports, financial education, and civic organizations. And since Country is already your neighbor, they want to get together and chat. Call your local Country Financial representative, Mike Thauer, today at 708-425-1559 to talk about the things that are important to you and how he can help you protect them.
All right, without further ado, let's get the rest of the field set for the Battle of Evergreen Park. So now let's go through and see who else we're going to be adding in. Again, this has nothing to do with seating. These are just places that we're throwing into the Battle of Evergreen Park to round it out. And Durbins of Evergreen Park will be added in. Now, this was a tough choice because there's more than one Durbins, right?
Right.
But remember, we've met the folks over at Durbins, and this owner of Durbins is the only person who owns this Durbins.
Okay.
She doesn't own any other Durbins. So while it has the Durbins name, it is individually owned. And so that's why I was like, we're going to involve it. Plus, they do music on the weekends. They're good people. They've worked with us before.
Yeah.
And we're going to put them in there. Plus, when you think about it geographically, they kind of sit by themselves there.
They do. There's
on
not much
Kedzie at 103rd.
Not much else around them.
Right. So they may pull geographically a lot of people that live in that part of Evergreen Park and walk over there. Another place that geographically may do very well in the Battle of Evergreen Park, Hearts.
Hearts, yeah.
That is...
Very unassuming building when you pass it. You don't know what it is.
Well, I remember when it was a cop bar.
Yeah.
It used to be a copper bar. My dad used to bring me in there, and they didn't even want you to know it was a bar. Like, you walked in and they looked at you funny unless they recognized who the person was that was walking in. Like, my dad would be like, "Don't walk into this place. This is like almost like a private club."
Yeah.
Right? It's not like that anymore. Now they're a music venue. They bring in a lot of bands on
My
the
friend from
weekends.
Louisiana has played there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They bring in a ton of musical acts. They get a really young crowd that's out there, but they are happening on the weekends.
Yes, they are.
And they get good numbers over there at Hearts. And they're another one, geographically, they sit by themselves. They're on the east side of Evergreen Park on 99th Street, right on the border.
Yeah.
So that's another one that entire neighborhood there could pull a lot of votes. They may advance a ways inside of it just because of where they're at. I added a breakfast place because I was like, everything's got alcohol in it. We're going to put the golden griddle's
some
going to get in.
pancakes. Yeah.
The golden griddle's going to get into the Battle of Evergreen Park. I know that the Chamber of Commerce will have breakfast there where they'll have all the different chamber members show up. If I go in there in the morning, it's packed all the time. This is one of those things, like, if you don't go out for breakfast, you don't understand the Golden Griddle. But if you're a breakfast person, this place is the place in Evergreen Park. Early morning voters are going to be going big for the Golden Griddle. That's an upset special right there.
Okay.
In my mind. That's
All
one
right.
you got to watch out for.
Watch out.
They could really, they could beat somebody who doesn't expect to get beaten. And then I have this one here, another geographical one. Can you identify that building?
Wojo's.
Exactly.
Oh.
They are the
Those
exact
waffle fries.
They are the exact opposite geographically of Hearts. They are all the way on the west side on 99th Street, also all by themselves out there.
How long have they been there?
I was going there when I was in high school.
Yeah.
I was at Brother Rice and I'd walk over there, and and it seemed like they had been there forever. They've got like those Little League pictures on the wall in that place.
They do, yeah.
They probably have kids in those pictures that are 45 years old now.
Yeah.
That gives you right there, all of the ones that I have unveiled, that's 14 seeds.
We've already gone through 14.
That is 14 seeds. And right now you're sitting there and you're thinking to yourself, wait a minute, you've left out a ton of places. And now I'm going to drive everybody nuts. Here we go. This is where I make everybody angry. And this is when I think...
You make people angry?
This is when I make everybody angry. This is when everybody jumps in. And I talked to our social media manager, Faith. She was an Evergreen Park student over at EPCHS. Now she's older. She runs her own business, and she does social media management for different companies around the country. She handles ours as well. We did the thing for the Battle of the South Side, and she said the biggest things that got the biggest responses, that got people involved, was one, they were angry when things got involved that they didn't consider to be South Side, and two, they were angry about places that were clearly snubbed.
Okay.
Places that were completely left out.
Yeah.
Okay? And so, with that in mind, because I want to cause a little bit of trouble. All right?
Why not?
We're going to have the two play-in brackets now. To make these are the final things. These are the two play-in brackets that are going to be part of the Battle of Evergreen Park. And the first bracket is going to be the Battle of the Breweries. Neither one of these are technically in Evergreen Park, but both of them have high exposure in Evergreen Park.
Right.
They are on
They're
tap.
so close.
They're on tap and available in most of these establishments. They show up when we have events. They're at the library event. Open Outcry is at all the different things that happen in Evergreen Park. It seems like they've been at the Most Holy Redeemer barbecue bash. They've been at the libraries night. They've done all that stuff. We're going to put them head to head with the other brewery that's just on the outside, Horse Thief Hollow. The winner gets into the Sweet 16.
Okay.
They will get into the Sweet 16, and they'll have to face a 1 or a 2 seed. They're just battling to get in, and they're like an upset. It'll be interesting to see something not from Evergreen Park advance past that point, but that right there throws the wrench into the contest.
Okay.
The second bracket is even crazier. It's Rainbow Cone,
Woo!
which is not in Evergreen Park.
But it's right there.
I'm claiming it because it's on the other side of the street, and I think a ton of Evergreen Park people go
Right there.
It's right there. I'm claiming it as ours, okay?
Yeah.
This one will be in a play-in against the Snub.
Okay.
We are leaving it blank as of tonight.
Okay.
So that's it. That's the bracket. If something was snubbed, the last spot is still available to go up against Rainbow Cone in the play-in game. So if you feel like there's a place you love in Evergreen, and trust me, I know the places I snubbed. I'm very aware. I sit down and made a list of at least 6 or 7 places right off the top of my head that I was like, they got snubbed. They're good enough to be in this contest, but they're not. We will be launching a last establishment in contest. It'll be on all the social media. We will be putting all the snubs in. If you're worried your place was not put in there in the Battle of Evergreen Park, now is your last opportunity to get them in there. So if there is a restaurant that has not been put up, if there is a bar that has not been put up, if there is a food place that has not been put up, if there's anything, bakery, I don't care. If something was snubbed, now is the time to get them in. They will face Rainbow Cone, which technically is not in Evergreen Park.
You
So
said bakery, and I
they
just
have a
thought of
chance to
one.
win. I know. I wrote it down right after I was done. I was like, oh, I forgot them. Look, this was difficult. And I've come up with the brackets already. I'll be honest with you.
They can still make it in.
I've already written the brackets up, and it is a grudge match between some places. Like, I'm causing trouble right away in the brackets. We got places that are head-to-head in competition in real life going head-to-head against each other in the first couple rounds. Okay? So, I mean, it's going to be really interesting to watch Evergreen Park pick their favorite place in the EP. Are you excited about this?
I really am.
It is now time for your EP podcast Word on the Street, brought to you by the brand new Spoke and Vine Wine Bar and Bottle Shop, northeast corner of 95th and Kedzie. I've already been in there a few times, so when it comes time to vote in the Battle of Evergreen Park and they come up, I at least know about them. You should get out there. You want to be an informed voter. Plus, the food's good and they got a great selection of wine. Learn all about them at spokenvinewines.com. As we kick this off, I would be remiss to not acknowledge the tragic murder of an Evergreen Park Baracos pizza delivery driver. Friday morning, the 41-year-old driver shot inside his vehicle during an armed robbery. In Gresham, a terrible tragedy that I'm sure is not only hitting his family, but his Baracos family very hard. It happened in Chicago. Area 2 detectives are investigating. In Evergreen Park on Monday, Evergreen Park police cited a CTA bus after an accident involving 6 vehicles and the bus. On to non-police related matters. Hot summer nights picnic in the park happening at Klein Park, 97th and Homan this Thursday. Food, beverages, DJ. The EP podcast is going to be out there. All kinds of food trucks lined up there. Should be an absolute blast. Kicks off at 5 p.m., goes until 8. We will have free face painting for the kids in the EP podcast tent. We'll also be playing Pod Squares, a chance to win cold hard cash. The Smiley Tillman Band is coming very soon. The summer concert series in the EP continues. 6 p.m. It kicks off at James J. Sexton Park at 91st and Rockwell on August the 4th. Our final segment and our guest brought to you by Sid Sauce
They grow the peppers here in Evergreen Park. They develop the hot sauces here. They're constantly changing them up, and they're oh so good. The only place I get my hot sauce at. See everything they have to offer and get it delivered to your door at sidsauce.net. Generally, we have down here at the 9-foot homemade oak bar to talk about everything that's going on over at the EP Library, Frank Murray. But Frank Murray didn't show up. He snubbed me. Much like I'm sure there are people who feel snubbed in the Battle of Evergreen Park, but Jenna Harte-Wisniewski got down here, and we've had her on before. How are you, Jenna?
I'm fantastic.
Are you ready for the Battle of Evergreen Park? Was there anybody there that I listed that you're like, snub? You left them out. You got to get them in that last spot, because we're going to have a poll here this week where there's going to be one final spot to get into the battle. Who do you want to see in that poll?
So honestly, Chris, you really forgot La Cocina Jalisciense. I think I said that right.
You know what? You said it better than I would
La
ever say
Cocina.
it. You said it better than I would say it. The place is over on 95th and Kedzie.
Yeah, over
Very
at 95th
good
and
tacos
Kedzie.
over there.
Oh my God, the best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So what kind of events you got coming up here? I know back into July, going into August, all kinds of stuff going on. What do you have going on at the library right now?
Yeah, so summer is kind of dying down, unfortunately. But
Stop saying that. I keep seeing all this stuff like, we're coming up on the first day of school. I'm like, it's mid-July. Like, I don't even have to go back to school. And I'm angry on my kids' behalf.
Right.
You know, I've gotten a schedule for Macaulay, Rice, and Most Holy Redeemer sent to my house in the last week for all 3 kids. 'Cause I have 3 kids in 3 different schools. It's impossible to keep track of all this stuff. So I'm glad they send it. But it's the middle of July, for crying out loud.
okay, so I take it back. Summer is still in full swing at the
Good.
library.
Yes, please. At least here on the EP podcast, it's still in full swing. So what do you have going on?
So summer is still in full swing. However, our summer reading program is kind of winding down a little bit. We still have a ton of programming happening, but summer reading ends July 31st.
Do they have to get their form in by the 31st, or can they bring it in if they finish on the 31st? Can they get it in later on that week in the beginning of August? What are the rules here?
Great question, Chris.
Yeah, because I got to know, because I got to start filling mine out.
You know what? I wasn't going to say anything, but I did my research, Chris. I'm a librarian. And guess which Lanuti doesn't have a summer reading log?
Not yet.
So the good news,
My little
Chris,
guy's killing it. My little guy is killing it right
I
now.
gave him his prizes the other week.
Yeah.
So.
He walks in, he picks up his fabulous prizes, he goes back, he keeps reading. So he's going to finish that entire sheet.
Oh, yeah.
Much like I'm going to.
And to keep reading. I fully expect you to come in for your prizes.
Oh, yeah, I'm coming in.
So yeah, good news is that you can keep on logging your minutes through July 31st. So the summer reading program does end August 1st. However, we do have a little bit of leniency for those who are on vacation or, just can't get in time to get it logged by the 31st.
But if you show up a couple days after in August, you're like, hey, I stopped logging on the 31st. This is where I was at up to the 31st. You can still...
Yeah, we still have a little leniency.
All right, good.
Yeah.
All right. Right now, Frank's listening to this, and he's like, whoa, hold
like,
on
hold
a
on.
second.
No, we don't.
This is another scam. Chris is perpetuating another scam upon the library.
How dare you.
Yeah, exactly.
And Jenna just rolls with it. But, if you can't get your minutes in, you can't visit the library before the 31st, we do have an app that you can log your minutes through on your phone.
Okay.
And then just come and collect your prizes after the 31st. No biggie. But it is for all ages. I want to throw that out there because a lot of adults are like, well, that's for kids.
Yeah.
No, the adults have awesome prizes too. We've got stickers for your car. We have bullet journals. We've got bookmarks. You can even get a bookmark to claim a free book at our book sale. So we've got some cool stuff. Candy.
Frank has tried to tell me that this is very, there's no way anybody's going to cheat. Nobody's just going to fill in that they read books to get prizes. Nobody's going to do any of that. You're using this app. I'm not sure. I mean, you really think that you can prevent cheating? Like, I had a kid come down the stairs today, and he's like, Dad, I'm going paintballing. And I'm like, you're gonna go paintball? He's like, yeah, in Indiana. And I go, isn't there some sort of waiver I have to fill out? He goes, yeah, it was online. I filled it out. I put your name on the thing.
Oh.
You see, these online things, it's very hard to police this stuff. I'm just telling you, right? You think you got legit readers handing in this stuff?
I really do think that the EP,
All right.
Yeah.
Well, Nikki Lanuti's doing it, so I know you got at least one, because that kid's serious about the entire thing. What else you have coming up?
This is going to be our second year to do our stuffed animal sleepover at the library.
Oh, that's when the stuffed animals come to the library.
Yes.
And you leave them overnight at the library.
You trust us
kids
with your
don't stay.
favorite or your second favorite stuffed animal. The kids don't stay.
Right.
But you leave your stuffed animal with us. You entrust your favorite stuffed animal
See,
with
I
us.
always love this one. I imagine Frank just up all night playing with other kids' stuffed animals.
No, you're looking at her.
Oh, you do this.
I stay with the stuffed animals all night.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And I just make sure that they don't break into the places that they shouldn't go, that they don't break into the fridge in the staff lounge and steal all the popsicles.
Yeah. They're not using the fireplace irresponsibly.
Exactly.
All right. Well, that's smart. What night is that?
That's going to be, so drop off is going to be Friday the 28th. And so you just come, you take a photo with your stuffed animal, and you leave them with us. And then throughout the entire day and then overnight, they're going to get into lots of shenanigans.
Right. Are you taking pictures of the
Of
shenanigans
course.
and
Of
sharing
course.
them with the kids?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And then when you pick it up on Saturday, you'll be able to see a slideshow where with all the photos that we take so that you can see all the shenanigans that they get into the night before. So then when you come to pick them up on Saturday, you'll watch that and then say hello and greet your little friend.
Do you get kids that show up for this event? Because last year it was brand new, so I couldn't ask Frank this question. But did you get kids last year that showed up and had second thoughts about leaving their guy behind? It was like their mom and dad were like, you know what, it's a great idea. We're gonna go drop off your stuffed animal overnight. And, he's going to get some shenanigans. You're going to see some pictures. And the kid's like, oh, all right, sounds good. Then the kid gets there and he's handing it over to you. And he's like, whoa, hold on a second. This
Who
is
is
a
this
bad
person?
idea. Did that happen?
It did.
Yeah?
But you know what I tell parents? Bring their second favorite
Yeah.
so that, they don't have to be, apart from their favorite stuffed animal overnight because that might cause some drama at home.
Right.
So bring your second favorite stuffed
right,
animal.
yeah.
But there were some tears last year and some sad faces walking out the door, waving goodbye. And I said, it's going to be okay.
Sounds very
They're
traumatic.
with friends.
Sounds very traumatic.
It was.
Like, I'd be like, I imagine the dad, because this would be me. Like, I could see my wife saying, we're going to go do this, taking the little guy over, dropping off the stuffed animal. And then 2 a.m. when he crawls in the bed and he's kicking me in the face because he's had a bad dream and he doesn't have his whoopee.
Oh.
Like, now I'm sitting there going, why did we give the library a stuffed animal? I'll be calling Frank in the middle of the night.
You'll
I have
be
his
busting
number.
down the door.
I'll be calling him. Like, you got to open up this thing. This kid's in my bed.
Yeah.
Don't think I won't, Jenna.
Well, hey, that's on you guys. Don't look at us.
All right, as we get into August, back to school centric, which again is which I hate, but I know that's probably coming up.
Yeah, well, so besides that, I did mention before the book sale. That's a big deal because
okay.
people wait all year for this summer book sale. We do a lot of prep. We have a great volunteer, Mary Kay Fahey, who does all of the prep for the book sale. We do take donations for our book sale. So all of the donations, all the books, magazines, vinyl people donate to the library. Those will go into the book sale and generate revenue for the Library Foundation.
How used do the books? How used can they be?
Yeah, so we don't want the ones without covers or missing pages.
Okay.
They have to be new or like new, something that you would want in your collection.
Okay, it's got to be something I want.
Yeah, so that is actually happening July 31st. So it's when summer reading ends, bring your summer reading log in and then come check out the book sale. It's down in the basement in the meeting room and conference room, and that runs through August 5th.
Awesome. Very cool.
Yes, and we are taking volunteers too. So if you have some time to give, you can donate 2 or more hours of your time to helping out with the book sale. You'll be helping people check out, find materials, keeping the materials organized, lots of different stuff. We have lots of work that goes into the book sale, so we absolutely need volunteers.
If somebody volunteers, are they an honorary librarian for a day? Like, can they walk around and shush people?
You can.
Okay.
Sure.
That's-
we don't shush people at our library unless you're being obnoxious. But, they can be an honorary librarian for about 2 hours.
I don't know why you're giving up on the shushing. I would think that was a massive perk for being a librarian. Yes. See, I stopped talking because you
good.
shushed me.
Yeah.
What else?
Holy cow, you mean it works? It's never worked before. It's weird.
It's the EP Podcast. All things Evergreen Park. It's the EP Podcast. Evergreen Park.